So ARMY, the situation is getting worse and worse, and this time, the criticism is coming from ARMY themselves. A growing number of fans are demanding that BTS be held accountable for their actions. Many fans are especially disappointed because BTS has a fandom that is overwhelmingly women, and they feel that RM and Jhope attending a Chris Brown concert was an insensitive decision given his history of violence and allegations involving women. One fan wrote, "Knowing your fandom is 90% women and going out of your way to attend a Chris Brown concert. I genuinely don't even know what to say. I am a woman before anything. And there's no way Namjoon and Jhope didn't know." Some fans are also bringing up previous occasions where BTS members have casually listened to Chris Brown's music, arguing that attending his concert feels like a much more deliberate choice. Other ARMYs are saying that people defending them need to understand why this situation is upsetting. Chris Brown has a well-documented history of violence and legal controversies involving women. We'll also talk about the violence allegations against him in this video, so make sure to watch the full video. And don't forget to subscribe. And fans argue that this is not simply about disliking an artist. One fan pointed out that people continue to support him because of his music or appearance, but questioned whether separating the artist from the art is appropriate when the artist has such a serious history. At the same time, some ARMYs are trying to approach the situation with more nuance. They acknowledge that posting or attending a Chris Brown concert can be criticized as insensitive and disappointing, but they don't believe that automatically means RM and Jhope personally support abuse or should be labeled as abusers themselves. As one fan explained, criticism does not necessarily equal assigning the worst possible intentions to someone. The argument is that there is a difference between enjoying someone's music and endorsing everything that person has done. If fans are going to have conversations about separating art from the artist, then that discussion should be applied consistently. You can believe that what they did was careless, disappointing, or deserving of criticism without automatically concluding that they support abuse. The situation isn't necessarily as black and white as social media is making it. Another ARMY even joked about the combination of controversies, saying, "AI ads and Chris Brown support, are they trying to remind us that they're men and we should be disappointed in them?" Meanwhile, another fan said they were shocked to discover that the concert was in Canada, questioning whether RM and Jhope had actually gone out of their way to attend it. Some fans also pointed out a perceived double standard, arguing that a female idol might face significantly harsher backlash for making a similar decision. Another frustrated fan said that once the members left the concert, they hoped they would look at social media, see the reaction, and realize how their actions were being perceived. The frustration isn't necessarily about demanding that BTS be condemned entirely, but about wanting them to understand why so many fans are uncomfortable with the situation. At the same time, there are ARMYs who don't believe that listening to a Chris Brown song or attending one of his concerts should become the ultimate measure of BTS's character or morality. Instead, they hope the members will educate themselves and become more aware of the people and issues connected to the artists they publicly support, especially considering how large and female-dominated their audience is. What matters now is how this situation is handled moving forward. Fans do not need to erase their disappointment just to prove their loyalty, and they also do not need to turn one questionable decision into a complete judgment of who RM and Jhope are as people. The criticism is valid, especially when it comes from fans who feel personally uncomfortable because of Chris Brown's history and the impact his actions have had on women. At the same time, assuming that attending the concert automatically means they endorse everything he has done leaves no room for them to learn, reflect, or acknowledge the issue themselves. This is also why many fans are asking for education rather than simply outrage. BTS members have repeatedly spoken about their relationship with their fans, so it is understandable that ARMYs expect a certain level of awareness when it comes to choices that can be interpreted as support. Nobody is asking them to be perfect, but being more conscious of the people and situations they publicly associate themselves with can make a real difference. If they were unaware of the full extent of the controversy, hopefully this backlash becomes an opportunity for them to understand why it affected so many fans. At the end of the day, defending BTS does not have to mean defending every decision they make. Likewise, criticizing them does not have to mean hating them or abandoning the fandom. Fans can care deeply about BTS while still saying, this was disappointing, and I hope they think about it. That kind of honest conversation is far more meaningful than either blind defense or unnecessary hostility. Ultimately, this is a situation where criticism and nuance can exist at the same time. Fans can be disappointed and demand accountability without immediately assuming the worst intentions, while those defending BTS should also understand why many people find this particular decision deeply uncomfortable. Rather than turning the conversation into they did nothing wrong versus they support abusers, perhaps the more productive discussion is about awareness, responsibility, and learning from situations like this.